Nice try. Welcome to A Line Through Time, where I take the time to look through your favourite franchises and work out how it all lines up. This time we're discussing Capcom's baffling blunder of a reboot, DmC. If you want to see me discuss the real Devil May Cry, here's a separate video for you to check out. I work out how old Dante is in that one. Before we really get started though, I need to make one thing clear. No, DmC is not a canonical prequel to the main series. It's a separate continuity. If you think otherwise, you're an idiot. Dante's weapons are completely different, the world the game takes place in is completely different. Dante and Virgil's designs, powers, personalities and goals are completely different. Sparda's characterization and history are completely different. Eva's design and race are completely different. Angels now exist for some reason, and oh yes, Dante and Virgil kill Mundus in this game. How goddamn stupid do you have to be to genuinely believe DmC is a prequel to DMC3 in the face of all this evidence to the contrary? Now that we've established irrefutably that DmC is its own thing, we can get down to explaining the timeline. First, we have January 2013's DmC Devil May Cry, which was announced only 3 years after DMC4. The reason Capcom felt the need to reboot the franchise, especially under Western developer Ninja Theory, eludes me to this day. The game follows an antisocial homeless man whore and his twin brother Anonymous as they seek to end the secret Orwellian control the demon kingpin Wilson Fisk has over the entire planet. They succeed in murdering the Kingpin's self-proclaimed bitch, their unborn child that can leave and re-enter the womb at will, and Demon Bill O'Reilly, with help from Anonymous's follower Cat, who jerks off squirrels. In the end, they kill the Kingpin, only for Anonymous to randomly turn out to be evil at the last minute without any build-up, because there was another game about half-demon twins where the other twin is the final boss that Ninja Theory apparently drew inspiration from, and Anonymous flees to the demon world because the other game had the other twin say he needs more power and stay in the demon world. In addition to the main event, there's also the copied backstory with their parents, but it's quite different here. Rather than humans, the demons were in conflict with angels, even though the only angel we know about is Eva. Sparda is Mundus' blood brother, whose betrayal is now just getting it on with an angel, not rebelling against him. He isn't a warrior at all, so instead of fighting off the demons for 2 millennia alongside his angelic wife, he goes into hiding until Mundus finds them and personally murders Eva. Sparda hides his sons in new homes with amnesia before Mundus finds him and locks him in a rape dungeon never to be heard from again. If classic Sparda is the Dark Knight, is this Sparda Zack Snyder's version that could get sodomized in prison? Now that image is stuck in your head, let's move on to the Chronicles of Virgil, a 2-part comic prequel that released in January and May of 2013. Virgil's name is really just for marketing reasons, as Cat is the real star of the comic. It's a shame too, because it's clearly supposed to be that we have the game, comic and DLC, each with a different protagonist from the main trio. Kinda like the DMC3 manga, which was unfinished, just like the Dreamwave DMC1 adaptation, and the comic series Wildstorm was supposed to be making, which means that the only DMC comic project that saw completion was tied to the fucking reboot. Good job, humanity. I see now why the demons want us dead. The only DMC comic project ever completed details how Virgil and Cat first met, with sporadic cameos by Dante getting in trouble with the demons. The most significant thing we learn is that Cat and Virgil are in love until Virgil erases both of their memories of it, which is a pointless addition given Virgil's utter disregard for her safety in the game. The comics approach the dialogue, even when directly adapting part of the cringe-fest poison encounter,
"On your prime day, you ugly sack of shit,"
it's more like PlayStation All-Stars, where they write Dante closer in tone to his classic self than to some 14-year-old's edgy fanfiction. Then, in March, the game received a DLC, Virgil's Downfall, which follows Virgil right after the game as he dies and acquires greater power in hell by ripping off Bleach harder than Marvel did. Virgil becomes the new Demon King and prepares to go back to Earth to face Dante again in the sequel. Only there is no sequel. The game sold the worst of the entire franchise, prompting Capcom to greenlight DMC5 instead. The only acknowledgements of the reboot Capcom have made since are with the Definitive Edition, and this Dante appearing as a DLC costume for the real Dante in Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. The former improved the gameplay, made Lilith not a self-proclaimed bitch, and removed Virgil's stupid hat, while the latter is arguably the best character model in that game, which is probably a greater injustice to Dante than that game's terrible script.
Hey, we're awesome guys.
Yeah. Nice.
But let's get back to the timeline. Can we work out Dante's age here? Well, both Dante and Virgil acknowledge their childhood amnesia as happening when they were 7, which was presumably only a few days after their mother died and a few before their father's capture. During the Bob Barber's fight, Bill recaps Dante's life. From this, we learn 2 things. He was 8 when he ripped off Caravaggio's David with the head of Goliath in the orphanage Sparta put him into, and he's at least 17 now since that's where the recap ends, but we get nothing more specific than that. He's old enough to get into clubs and drink at least. The game seems to take place in America, but without any specific state given for Limbo City's location, it's probably best to assume he's at least 21. You know, he might have a fake ID, but that's just pure conjecture. Based on his design, I don't peg him for anything above 23. They did base his second design on his voice actor Tim Phillips, but I can't find any information about how old he is, so we can't use that either. So without anything firmer than that, I'll use the soft age of 21 for the game and DLC. The comic is set 3 months before the game. The Dante portion is set a few months prior, allegedly coming 1 year after his fight with poison in the game. It's probably a slip up, like when MK4 claimed Liu Kang was the ancestor of the great Kung Lao from 500 years ago. My best guess is that the Dante portion is set a year prior to the game, with the rest of the comic coming 3 months before the game and roughly 9 months after the Dante part. So yeah, same year. And that's as good as we're gonna get, I think. So without further ado, the DmC Devil May Cry standalone timeline goes a little something like this. And again, before Dante and after Dante. 0 AD. The demon Sparda falls in love with an angel named Eva, producing twin sons, Virgil and Dante. Sparda's blood brother, the demon king Mundus, is enraged by this, and Sparda's family goes into hiding. 7 AD. Mundus finds the family and personally murders Eva. Sparda separates his sons and erases their memories shortly before he is found and imprisoned by Mundus. 8 AD. Dante kills the demon in charge of the orphanage he was placed in and begins moving between various institutions and foster homes throughout his childhood. 20 AD. Dante begins to awaken his demonic powers. 21 AD. Virgil recruits a Wiccan named Cat into his anti-demon organization, the Order. The two recruit Dante, who kills Mundus in battle, exposing the existence of demons to humanity. Virgil challenges Dante to take Mundus's place, but Dante defeats him. Mortally wounded, Virgil flees. He acquires new power in hell and becomes a new demon king, vowing to return and seek revenge on his brother. Do not tell me not to make fun of this game because its story, world, aesthetic and dialogue are fucking terrible. And its conception isn't much better.
Me, a god, versus you, a piece of shit.
As I discussed in the episode on the real Devil May Cry, Capcom thought rebooting a series 3 years after the last installment, under the direction of a Western developer whose games were never on par with DmC in the first place, was somehow a good idea. Even when fans immediately cried foul, Capcom pushed ahead with the project rather than, I don't know, rebranding it as a new IP, like when Street Fighter 89 became Final Fight, spawning a new series and allowing the seminal Street Fighter 2 to get made, or more relevantly when the equally seminal Resident Evil 4 got made because the first attempt at RE4 became Devil May Cry. I mean, it's not like there's a precedent for this kind of thing working out really well or anything. It's a real shame the original vision for the game couldn't have just been its own thing instead of being warped into a Hollywood bastardization of Devil May Cry in video game form. Still, we've got DmC 5 on the way and no sign of this thing ever continuing. Well, unless Ninja Theory's new overlord Microsoft funds the smash hit of an exclusive DmC 2, but the world already has one DmC 2, it hardly needs another. If you liked this video, why not subscribe and check out the description for more content. If not, then make sure to share it with your enemies so they can suffer along with you. Also share with your friends so I can become a real YouTuber.